Who you got in that 4 spot in the AFC West?
In the AFC West, I have the Las Vegas Raiders coming in at number 4. I had them at 5-12. It was tough to find games that the Raiders could win on this schedule. I just think they're gonna take a step back. Jimmy G, he's replacing Derek Carr. What does that really do for your team? Nothing. Probably makes you worse. Crosby and Adams on both sides of the ball are elite, some of the best players at their position, but other than that, there's really no other names, no one else that does anything spectacular. Josh Jacobs, one of the best running backs in the league, he's holding out. I saw today that I guess he's back having conversation with the Raiders, so they're trying to talk things, figure it out. Regardless if Jacobs is there, this Raiders team is probably going to be pretty bad, and I think they're going to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes trying to get that number 1 pick next season.
Interesting. I have the Raiders in that 4 spot. You mentioned the wins. I figured I gave them a little benefit of the doubt, man. I'm doing it in preseason. I gave them 6 wins, 6-11.
Big difference from 5-12.
So 6 wins might kick them out that Caleb Williams sweepstakes. But, they had a veteran presence on the defensive side of the ball. Marcus Peters, Jacoby Myers on the outside of the ball, who won them a game last year while he was on the Patriots. So he joins them, and you mentioned Jimmy G. Not really much of a change at the quarterback scene there. So it's like, Josh Jacobs being that 1,000-yard rusher, that, top 10 running back in the league that he's been most seasons. Him holding out that's big, takes away a weapon. You mentioned, Tay Adams on the outside. Jimmy G, we'll see how that connection is. Just because you got, if not the best, arguably the best receiver in the NFL in Devontae, you got to give him a little bit of credit. They could go on a little bit of a run, but, realistically, 6-11, you mentioned Crosby, one of the better pass rushers in this league as well. 6-11, I think that's a safe bet for the, I'm going to say Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders this season. So I got them at 4 as well.
Yeah, and then right above them, I have the Denver Broncos, who I think will have a better season than last year. I think they'll be competitive, but ultimately I had them at 8-9. It just comes down to how good will Russell Wilson be. You kind of saw, a tale of two cities in his career last year, where in Seattle the year before he was pretty good, got injured, and then comes to Denver and he's just a shell of himself. Now, you saw the comments Sean Payton made about Nat Hackett and how this team was run, and said it was like the worst coaching job in the history of the NFL. So could that have something to do with it? I'm sure we talked about it a lot last season and how bad that team was ran and stuff. But, I think Sean Payton will definitely help this offense and this team in general. But, it's a tough division, tough conference. I think their defense will continue to be pretty good. Patrick Surtain, one of, if not the best corner in the league. I think the Denver Broncos will be a solid middling team, maybe looking for a shot at the wild card, but ultimately I got them falling just short at 8-9.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I got the Broncos at the 3, 8-9 as well. You're the Sean Payton guy saying he was going to go to Denver, and look and behold, Sean Payton is the coach now. Russell Wilson, you mentioned the struggles with Hackett and the little shots that the Jets have been sending as well to the Broncos, who play each other this year. Should be interesting there. They re-signed Kareem Jackson on the back end, veteran presence. Jerry Jeudy, bouncing back, full season. Can he stay healthy? Big question mark. One of the most skilled receivers. When he's on the field. They signed Samaje Perine, decent pickup over there from the Cincinnati Bengals. They got Marquez Callaway as well from the New Orleans Saints, add another weapon, kind of that deep ball, maybe a little bit similar to, Tyler Lockett in Seattle. Russell Wilson, he liked them over there, really connected on that deep ball, maybe trying to get, a weapon that's similar to Lockett and Callaway. Obviously not as experienced, doesn't really have the resume or, the tape to back it up, but highlight reel, in the preseason a few years ago, and really has been quiet since, hasn't had an opportunity to shine. So we'll see if he gets a chance in Denver. And I think the biggest, offseason signing for the Broncos is your boy, I bet Alex Singleton to the Broncos, man. But not.
What, they re-signed him? He was on the team last year, wasn't
Yeah, they
he?
re-signed Singleton.
That was just a name I'm glad I didn't have to think about for a while.
But yeah, 8-9, man. I could see them being in the hunt. Week maybe 16, they kind of fall out of the hunt, and 15 fall out. So 8-9, third seed in that AFC West. I got the Broncos as well.
Yeah, so coming in at number 2, I have the LA Chargers. I think Justin Herbert will continue to be an elite quarterback, and I think he'll take a step further this year. Kellen Moore coming over from the Cowboys, bringing over that explosive offense. I believe the Cowboys were like top 5 in offense the last couple years. So, this offense is productive. You saw what Dak Prescott, who was a good quarterback, could do. Just insert Justin Herbert, who has an elite arm talent. Super, super special. You add in Quentin Johnson, young rookie receiver who's going to be able to finally stretch the field and hopefully be able to catch those crazy deep bombs we saw Justin Herbert, showcase. Slater comes back, left tackle, sure of that own line. Hopefully, Herbert can continue to stay upright, doesn't have broken ribs again. And the defense, I think they're going to be a solid unit. You got Bosa, you got Derwin James, Asante Samuel. You saw what he could do last year in the postseason with all those interceptions. You got some ball hawks back there. I think it'll be a solid unit, and I think the Chargers will be coming in at 10-7. I got them at 10 wins. A solid playoff team. I don't think they'll, be the number 1 seed from their division, but I think they'll be in the wild card, a good team, and I think we see Justin Herbert take another step.
We're just on the same page at this point. I got the Chargers at 10-7 as well. I finally got them getting, over that hump of can they make the playoffs. We saw it last year, obviously, other than the debacle they had post halftime against the Jags. Re-signed Jalen Guyton. They got Quinn Johnson in the draft, the guy who's, a lot of talk about his name and his, go out and get the ball ability and, sticking it. They got Eric Kendricks. They added to that defense as well. Solid
addition, yeah.
Solid pick up that linebacker core. The Eckler thing, kind of, Eckler's gonna play, but
if he's in the backfield, he's a great running back. He's gonna produce.
He definitely is gonna produce. They talk about that age, his workload over the years and just how many touches he gets in general. Will that take into account? I don't know. I'm a big Austin Eckler guy. He's, really good running back in this league. Deserves all the credit, even though he's undersized and, maybe not a true runner. But, he touches the ball and he makes plays. So
versatility is what he brings to the game. Catch it out of the backfield, catch it down the field, in between the tackles, outside. He can do it all. Kind
of like, your boy Sproles at one point in his career, or Alvin Kamara, maybe, better runner than Sproles, but
yeah, and bigger.
Yeah.
More physical, yeah.
No doubt. But 10-7, man, you got Agent Keenan Allen, who's always banged up. Mike Williams, also always banged up. Can those guys stay healthy on the outside? It's a big question mark. Same goes for Bosa. He's been banged up some points in his career as well.
Khalil Mack, too, isn't he still on there?
Yeah, Khalil Mack's still over there in L.A. Another
injuries have been kind of, a big part of his downfall recently.
Yeah, you take away injuries from those two guys. Those are 2 top 5 pass rushers, if healthy. At some point in their careers, they were definitely considered the best of the best.
For sure.
So 10-7 for the Chargers. I think that's a safe bet. Herbert gets a payday. It's time to, make it happen and prove, he's worth all that money he got. And probably leads the Chargers to a wild card spot, but in a tough AFC conference as well.
Yeah, but we'll talk about our quarterback rankings later. So I think in a tough AFC conference, but I think they have one of the better quarterbacks. But one team they don't have a better quarterback is the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think any team can say that. I have them coming in at 13-4. There's really not much to say about this team at this point. Really just Patrick Mahomes. Like, what else do you got to mention, bro? The combination of Mahomes and Andy Reid, I don't think they're slowing down anytime soon. Travis Kelce, like you mentioned before we started, still in his prime. He's still producing. Receivers don't really matter. Someone's going to catch the ball from Mahomes. Chris Jones anchors that defense that was young last year, but, they got a bunch of experience under their belt playing in the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl. So I think they'll just continue to get better. And the Chiefs will be one of, if not the best team in the league. So I got them at 13-4, led by the best player in football, Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, it's about time. We were a little off with the record. I got him at 12-5, first in the division. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Kels, whatever you want to call him these days. Best tight end, arguably, to ever do it. He's up in that conversation with the greats at his position. And I was like, trying to think of just like the free agency moves that they had. You get Rashee Rice in a draft, whatever. They signed Felix Aduki Uzama, the DN. All right. But the only real key loss, Juju walked, he's out of Kansas City now. They lost Orlando Brown at the tackle position, which obviously big hit there. But other than that, you mentioned it, Patrick Mahomes. You got Isaiah Pacheco coming back, who late round draft pick. They still have Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield as well, who's a first round pick. It doesn't matter who you really throw at receiver for Patrick Mahomes. He's going to make plays. And I'm not even going to say arguably, greatest player of this generation for sure, and definitely the number one quarterback in the league. So number one QB, we know what that means. It's a quarterback league. Chiefs 12-5, winning the AFC West just like they have been the past few years.